Good afternoon, and it's Mr. Lovell here again, another SPAG lesson for you. And as you can see on the learning objective, we are continuing to focus on punctuating direct speech, looking at the marking that we've done, the kind of things where we've gone wrong, things we need to focus on, and that's where we focus today. So, rules of what we have for direct speech, and I'm hoping by now these are all very much cemented into your minds. The 66 and the 99 doesn't really look like those numbers here, but showing us it's speech, capital letter for our first letter, punctuation inside when the tag's first, punctuation outside when the tag is second. Sorry, other way around. When the speech comes first, punctuation inside. When the tag comes first, punctuation outside. Said is dead, a different speech verb for it, please. And finally, new speaker, new line. Something that's going to be really important for what we're looking at today. Things that we are going to focus on, the things that we have been going wrong on when we've been marking your work. The two things we're looking at, we need to look at how we're going to punctuate speech when there's more than just one part of the speech there. So there's a question mark, a full stop, an exclamation mark halfway through the speech, what we can do with that with the speech marks, and also looking at when we've got two speakers in a paragraph, what we're going to do. So, part one, punctuating speech when there is two parts of speech within one person. So that's that first part that I looked at there. So we've got, at some point in your sentence, you're going to have an exclamation mark, a question mark, a full stop, and then the speech continues so it doesn't go on to a different speaker. So we're going to look at how we are going to do it. So, first things first, I would like you to have a look at these three sentences. I have put the punctuation in already, so I've put the full stops in, I've put the exclamation marks, I've put the question marks in for you. All I'd like to do, I'd like you to please put the punctuation in for me, so put the speech marks in where you think they need to go. Think about what I've said. If it's just one person speaking, you're only going to have one set of speech marks around it all. There's not two speakers here, we've only got one speaker per time. So how is that going to affect the punctuation that you have? So part number one, we had Mr. Lovell shouting, "Hey, that's my cat Timo. Do you like him?" So we notice that all of this is all speech from me. Hey, that's my cat called Timo. Do you like him? I've not got a tag midway through here. We've just got a continuous bit of speech. Although we've got a comma here, we've got a full stop here, I am not changing the speaker. It is all me. So because of that, we only need our speech mark at the beginning and the speech mark at the end. We don't need to have a speech mark here and then a new set here and a new set here. It is all one because it's all one speaker. Which leads us into part two. Part two, again, we haven't got a break in the middle there. We have got an exclamation mark where Mr. Watson's shouting, ouch, but it's all him speaking at once. We haven't got the tag midway after ouch here. So because of that, we only need our speech mark at the beginning and our speech mark at the end. We're not putting a comma or anything because we've already got our question mark here. So ouch, we are not looking where you are going, all sits inside one set of speech marks because it's all one person talking. There's not a tag halfway through, it's just continuous speech. And then the final sentence, again, we've got a question mark midway through, but it's all Mrs. Nestor speaking. Please can you bake me some cookies? I love them. We have got a question, then a statement. However, it's all question and statement from Mrs. Nestor. We haven't got a tag halfway through here, it's just a continuous bit of speech, and then a bit more speech. And because of that, again, we don't need to put speech marks here and here. It's just one continuous bit of speech. Remember, because we're not asking a question or making an exclamation here, we do need our comma inside the speech marks. Which gives us our rules to remember. So the first two rules are what we've been covering for the last week or so. We've got our 66 and our 99 and our capital letter for the first letter. We've got the punctuation inside when the speech is first and the comma outside the tag. Mr. Lovell said comes first and the speech is second. The only rule that we've added in here is this extensive rule at the bottom. But it's something that you really need to remember because it's where we have been going wrong. If it is all one person talking, there is no tag in the middle, there's no need for more than one set of speech marks. So it's all one set. Even if there's a question mark, an exclamation mark or a full stop in the middle, you still only need one set of speech marks. One at the beginning and then one at the end when the person has finished speaking and your tag is there. So part number 2 that we're going to have a look at now is punctuating speech when you've got two speakers in your sentence. So it's not just going to be one tag, you're going to have two lots. So again, you've got three sentences that I'd like you to have a go at, please. So number 1, I've made the chicken soup, said Mum. That's a pity, said Dad. I thought it was for us. Number 2, can we go swimming, Mum? I can't stand being in all day, asked Matthew. I thought you had homework to do. Maybe later, replied Mum. And finally, number 3, oh, Mum, I've almost finished it. Can't we just take an hour off? Cried Matthew. Yes, you can take an hour off, but only when you've finished your work, answered Mum. So 3 questions. Can you just put the punctuation in where you think it's going to be? You're going to need to do it on your whiteboard, please. So first of all, we look at the first one. It's a little bit of a joke for you there at the fact. Mum saying, I've made the chicken soup, said Mum. And Dad seems to think stupidly that the soup's actually for the chicken and instead it's not chicken flavoured soup. But we look at the sentence. So the first bit is Mum speaking. So we've got our 66 and we've got our 99 in like we've talked about here and here. We've got our comma inside because the tag comes second. And we've started with our capital letter. Mum finishes speaking and then Dad comes on to talking. And because of that, new speaker, new line. So we start a new line and we leave a gap in the middle. And Dad's got his 66, his 99, but there's our tag in the middle. So because of that, we do need a second set of speech marks. But that's a pity. Dad's not exclaiming, he's not questioning, so it's just our comma, cried Dad. We put another comma to attach our tag, cried Dad, to I thought it was for us. So we just need to remember, new speaker, new line, and when the tag's in the middle, you need to think about where your punctuation goes. Part number 2 was where Matthew seemed to think he was going to get a break from his work. And he's saying to his mum, can we go swimming, Mum? I can't stand being in all day. Thinking back to what we just did about 5 minutes ago, this is all one bit of speech from Matthew. And because it's all one bit of speech from Matthew, you only need to put your 66 at the beginning and your 99 at the end. Although we've got a question mark here, it doesn't matter. It's all from Matthew, so just 66, 99, comma to attach it to, asked Matthew. So can we go swimming? I can't stand being in all day, asked Matthew. Matthew finishes speaking and Mum starts speaking, so we've got to go on to our new line. New line, I thought you had homework to do, maybe later. And again, it's all one set of speech marks because it's all from Mum. We have got a question mark in the middle, but it's all from Mum, so speech mark at the beginning, speech mark at the very end. And then finally, we've got the last thing that we're going to look at. Again, we've got two speakers. Oh, Mum, I've almost finished it. Can't we just have an hour off? Cried Matthew. So Matthew, again, it's all one set of speech from Matthew, and because of that, we only need our speech mark at the beginning and our speech mark at the end. We have got a full stop. We just need to remember capital letter and then continue writing as normal and then sign it off with our 99. We don't need a comma because we've got a question mark. So Matthew finishes speaking and then again Mum starts answering. And because Mum starts answering, we go on to our new line. And then again, we start with our 66, finish with our 99 because it's all from Mum. Yes, you can take an hour off, but only when you've finished your work, answered Mum. We've got a comma here because Mum's not exclaiming and she's not questioning. So that means we just need our comma and it's just answered Mum. We have the same rules here, 1, 2 and 3, as we've just had on the previous set of rules. And the only additional rule that I'm going to add in there is new speaker, new line. You really need to remember, once we finish one person speaking and we start a new one, we need to start a new line. And then again, I'm going to point out rule number 3. If it's all just one person's speech and there's not a tag in the middle, it's just that one person, you start at the beginning of the speech with your speech mark, and when the person finishes speaking, you end it. You don't need to have a new set of speech marks every time you've got a question mark or an exclamation mark, just at the beginning and at the end. So that's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. So you now need to go into Google Classroom and complete the work that you have been set. Thanks very much. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. That's Learning with Mr. Lovell. Thanks a lot. Mr. Lovell signing off with a pen drop.